America is adrift. We are a ship sailing without a rudder, tossed about on a sea of uncertainty. Our borders are porous, our economy is shaky, and our national identity is under attack. The promises of the Biden administration have proven to be hollow words, leaving the American people feeling betrayed and apprehensive about the future. This is not the America we know. This is not the America we deserve. The very fabric of our nation is being tested. We see it in the eyes of our fellow citizens, in the lines at the food banks, in the shuttered businesses that once formed the backbone of our communities. There's a sense that the American dream is slipping away, replaced by a growing anxiety about what tomorrow holds. The Biden administration, despite its promises of unity and prosperity, has instead delivered division and economic hardship. We were promised a return to normalcy, a steady hand on the wheel. Instead, we got chaos and incompetence. The disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan, the surge in illegal immigration, the skyrocketing inflation, these are not the hallmarks of a competent administration. These are the symptoms of a leadership vacuum, a void that is being filled by radical ideologies and special interests. President Biden's open border policies are a disaster. They are an insult to every law-abiding American and a threat to our national security. Every day, thousands of undocumented immigrants pour across our southern border, overwhelming our Border Patrol agents and straining our social services. This is not compassion, it's chaos. The Biden administration claims that these are migrants seeking a better life. But the truth is far more complex. Among them are criminals, drug traffickers, and potential terrorists, all exploiting the open-door policy to gain access to our country. This is a direct result of Biden's decision to reverse the Trump administration's successful border security measures. The consequences are already being felt in communities across the country. Schools and hospitals are overwhelmed, crime rates are rising, and the social safety net is stretched to its breaking point. Yet, the Biden administration turns a blind eye, more concerned with virtue signaling than with protecting the American people. The administration's refusal to enforce immigration laws is an affront to the very concept of national sovereignty. A nation that cannot control its borders cannot protect its citizens. This is not about being heartless, it's about upholding the rule of law and safeguarding the interests of American citizens. President Trump promised to build a wall and secure our border. He understood that a nation without borders is not a nation at all. He knew that a secure border is essential for national security, economic prosperity, and the well-being of all Americans. The wall was more than just a physical barrier. It was a symbol of America's resolve to protect its sovereignty and its citizens. It represented a commitment to putting American interests first, a stark contrast to the globalist agenda being pushed by the Biden administration. But the Biden administration, in its infinite wisdom, decided to halt construction of the wall, leaving our border vulnerable and sending a clear message to the world. America is open for business, legal or otherwise. This decision was not only reckless but also a betrayal of the millions of Americans who voted for a secure border. The unfinished wall stands as a monument to the Biden administration's failed policies. It's a constant reminder of their broken promises and their disregard for the will of the American people. The open border is a gaping wound, bleeding American jobs, resources, and security. Under the Biden administration, our economy is like quicksand. The more we struggle, the deeper we sink. Inflation is soaring, gas prices are through the roof, and businesses are struggling to survive under the weight of crippling regulations. The American dream is turning into an American nightmare. Remember when you could afford to fill up your gas tank? Remember when you could buy groceries without breaking the bank? Those days seem like a distant memory under the Biden administration's economic policies. The truth is, these policies are not about helping the middle class. They're about expanding the size and scope of government. The Biden administration's reckless spending sprees have sent our national debt skyrocketing, leaving future generations saddled with an unbearable burden. Their energy policies are driving up the cost of everything from gasoline to groceries, hurting working families the most. This is not compassion, it's economic sabotage. The Biden administration's answer to every problem seems to be more government, more regulations, and more taxes. This top-down approach is stifling innovation, killing jobs, and making it harder for businesses to thrive. The American economy needs freedom, not more government intervention. President Trump put America first. He understood that a strong America is good for the world. He renegotiated trade deals, stood up to China, and brought back manufacturing jobs. He put the needs of American workers and families ahead of global special interests. Trump's America First agenda was a breath of fresh air in Washington, a stark contrast to the globalist policies of previous administrations. He understood that a strong America, both economically and militarily, is essential for maintaining peace and stability in the world. His policies were about putting American interests first, not about appeasing foreign powers or multinational corporations. He understood that the American people were tired of being taken advantage of, tired of seeing their jobs shipped overseas, and tired of politicians who put the interests of other countries ahead of their own. He promised to put America first, and he delivered. The contrast with the Biden administration couldn't be clearer. While Trump focused on American strength and prosperity, Biden seems intent on weakening America's standing in the world. His policies are making us less safe, less prosperous, and less respected on the global stage. We stand at a crossroads. The path we choose will determine the fate of our nation. We can continue down the road of decline under the Biden administration, or we can choose a different path. A path that leads to strength, prosperity, and a renewed sense of national pride. The choice is ours. The Biden administration has had its chance and it has failed. It has failed to secure our border, failed to control inflation, and failed to keep its promises to the American people. It's time for a change, a return to the common sense policies that made America great. We need a leader who understands the challenges we face, a leader who will put the interests of the American people first, a leader who will restore our economy, secure our border, and stand up for our values. We need a leader who will make America great again. The time for complacency is over. The future of our nation is at stake. We must raise our voices, demand better from our elected officials, and fight for the America we know is possible, an America that is strong, proud, and free.